Everybody has like what they're really good at, and you guys are really good at saving deals and putting deals together and all of that. I don't expect you to have that. That's why you hire other people. That's what leverage is, right? Is leveraging other people's expertise. And
how'd you get your name out there, and how are you so popular in the tri-state market right now?
I would say that one of the main things that I doubled on was on my personal brand and on my social media. Social media carries just an amazing power, and also just networking, being in front of people. Every day I wake up and I'm like, if at least I'm doing something. I did my social media, I did my calls, I did this, I did that. Even if it wasn't like an extraordinary day, I know that whatever I did was compounding. And it's like I go and I do a post and is going to be seen by my social media, got seen by over 100,000 people in a month.
Right.
Do you know how many cold calls I would have to do to call 100,000 people? It would probably take me over 7 years because I've done the math. You know, like to call 10,000 people on a video that had 10,000 views, right?
Very good point.
So those are the things that are compounding because that stays up forever.
Right.
Forever. This podcast that we're doing, this is a compounding effort because everybody's going to be able to see some type of media. They're going to go and search Maria Ospina and they're going to see how my mind works, how I speak, what it is that goes on, what it is that I'm doing out there.
Hey guys, welcome back to the We Talk podcast, the WeLend podcast. I have a very special guest today here, Maria Ospina with New World Title. Maria, thank you so much for being here with us today. Finally, glad to have you here. How are you?
I'm so incredibly honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I know we spoke about this a very long time ago and we finally made it happen.
Finally. Power of follow-up.
Yes, exactly. The power of networking, right?
Yeah, exactly. So tell me, how do we actually initially meet? Because I'm trying to remember. I think it was one of the sales guys.
Yeah, you know what? It has to be that, you know, with the amount of networking that we do with New World and with the boom that we wanted to come in, we knew that we always wanted to seek out the power players in New York. And it's obvious that WeLend are the power players in New York. Let's not disguise that we also both throw some awesome parties,
yes.
Some awesome networking events to really give, you know, the people that work with us that platform in order to thrive. So we know we really saw that. It must have been an either my event for Triple Play or your event, one of your summer events. But it was just that we had that immediate synergy and we knew that we needed to do something together because you saw the platform that we carried, whether it was in Florida and New Jersey, and we knew the power that you guys had, obviously nationwide and specifically in New York.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, you guys are also a powerhouse. I mean, you guys do a lot. I mean, the networking, the parties, the marketing, your marketing is insane. And also it's like a level up from any other title company that I know out there. So kudos to you. I know it's not easy. Yes. How did you get started in real estate to begin with?
Oh, real estate's that toxic ex-boyfriend you can't get rid of, right? So I'm going to make the very long story short. I actually started when I was 17 years old. My stepdad owned a title company.
Oh, wow.
So I actually started working with him when it came down to doing foreclosure reports, auction reports, all that fun stuff. And actually I would go like straight from high school and then into working at his company. And then there came a time, you know, where both my parents sat me down. They're like, look, you're obviously amazing, but we really want you out there networking and you have, you know, brains, you have power. We want you out there in an office setting. And I was so glad that they did that because it allowed me to really flourish into my career while simultaneously I was going to school for marketing, public relations, and advertisement where I have a double major. I did start working for a real estate brokerage and started applying the powers, you know, the things that I knew about marketing and just learning on somebody else's dollar, which is the best thing that you can do on how to run a brokerage and how to recruit agents and how to do all of that. And, you know, just fast forward a couple of years and a lot of trials and tribulations. At one point, you know, a CEO saw something in me. I was able to get into sales. And that was obviously the catalyst to so many other great things. And, you know, fast forward to about 3.5 years ago now, I was able at a networking event to come across Rudy once again, who is the owner of New World Title. And, you know, he was like, I really want you to work for the organization. I really want you to come and be our partner. Most importantly, I had a vision that I really wanted to be up here in New Jersey. So as you know, I'm originally from Miami. Yeah. And I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to really build on our tri-state division. You know, back then had no compromises, nothing keeping me there. I'm like, you know what? Miami has had enough of me. Let me go cause some damage in New York. And that's exactly what I did. And, you know, it was not easy, obviously, and we're still working on it, but it was just such a get out of my comfort zone experience, because it could have been really easy to just stay, you know, where I knew all the brokers and I knew all the realtors and just stay in that comfort zone in Miami. And being out here, it really, that hustle culture, that energy that is held here in New Jersey, in New York, is just unparalleled.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very blessed and honored to have been able to do that and keep doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Usually, typically people are moving from the tri-state area down to Florida, but you did the complete opposite. And also on top of that, coming out of your comfort zone, not knowing anyone here, and just taking that chance to do that. Not a lot of people would do that. Yeah. So I know that's not easy.
No, it's not.
So how did you get your name out there, and how are you so popular in the tri-state market right now?
I would say that one of the main things that I doubled down on was on my personal brand and on my social media. Social media carries just an amazing, amazing power, and also just networking, being in front of people. There would be a time when I would be doing the back and forth between New Jersey and Miami, just because I didn't have enough business in New York and New Jersey to warrant me living here. So I would literally just stay in front of people's faces through social media and then pop up at the events, right?
Yeah.
And then they would see my face so many times that they're like, wait, where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah.
They would eventually get curious. So that obviously, that curiosity and then just staying in front of people's faces is what has led, and obviously the follow through, just following through on what we do and what we say that we're going to do, and being very proactive towards that.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when we just got started on the lending side, everyone saw us as developers, because that's our background, right? We started as fix and flippers, developers, wholesalers initially, and then we grew up into developing. But you're right? You always have to be present. You always want to make sure you're there and people see you, you're in front of them. I think it takes about 8 times for you to touch a person for them to even have a normal conversation with you.
Absolutely.
And I tell that to all of our sales guys as well. I'm like, on the first call, you might get someone that's great, but majority of the times, it's going to take about 8 touches for you to get to someone.
Yes.
So you would say that social media platform is what separates you from everyone else in the industry today?
I would say, look, a lot of people can use social media. Everybody knows how to post something, how to post a story, but it's truly having a strategy behind it. And it's about on one end, it was making people feel seen, because I am not the type of person to not put you on my social media, right? So people also wanted that platform. They also, I'm like, I want you to succeed as well. So I wouldn't say just social media. I think that I went into this always with the mentality of, what can I do to help you grow your business, right? How can I be of service? And what is it that you truly need as an individual? Not, here's a list of the tools and resources that we have, pick from them, but truly listening to them, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
The things that work for Saul may not be the things that work for one of the amazing reps that I met of your guys. Is in the, what she needs is more networking, right? So for her, I'm like, I want to invite her to networking events. I want to, introduce her to more people. Whereas for you, it's like, all right, let's give you more of a platform. Let's, let's gather our network. So everybody has something different that they need, and it's truly listening to them and then showing up for them in the way that they need as individuals.
Right. Yeah, no, that's so true. It's adding value to those people. And I say that always to our salespeople too, right? Don't just pick up that phone and call them and say, hey, are you looking for a loan? Add value to that person. What are they looking for? Are they looking for a title agent? Are they looking for a wholesaler to find deals to begin with? What are they looking for? Just try to create that connection rather than just calling and just clicking and not doing anything with it.
Absolutely.
So I think you hit that on the head with the value add. It's huge. How are you helping New Jersey developers and investors in today's market? I know that there's a lot that's happening in Jersey. Jersey is still hot, still booming. How do you help these developers with title?
I love this question. I can't give all my secrets, because
you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Because then I'm totally kidding. I'm always an open book, and I do not believe in gatekeeping. Okay, so first of all, whereas every other title agent is always going towards, what they've been known. So let's start from with the landscape, right? Of how it works. Usually in New York and New Jersey, everybody would go towards the attorneys, right? And this is not in any way to knock any attorneys. I love them. I need them we all need them. We need to play nice in the sandbox with them, but they are not going out there and saying like, what can I do to help your business? Right. So then what did New World always do? They're like, well, let's go towards the agents, right? The agents are the ones that are out there, finding the deals, taking the deals into contract. Like they're the ones that are actually out there hustling. Let's help their business and help them grow in order for us to grow. Then the landscape started changing. And that's why it's so important to like really stay ahead of the curve and stay ahead of like the market and what is happening. I'm like, all right. So if agents aren't really able to like find these deals and agents aren't really doing a lot of deals, there's still deals that are being done. So it's like, let me go towards the people that are actually making the deals, right? The developers, the wholesalers, the land acquisitionists. So I would say really focusing on what it is that developers need. They need land, right? What can I help them with? Well, we have a lot of tools and resources that hold mortgage data, that hold property data, through just because not just are we a title agency, but because we're forward thinking, right? We pay for softwares, we pay for data in order to help our developers and our lenders and, people that are working with us and really give them innovative ideas in order to deploy this, because it's really easy to just like give somebody a list and just be like, hey, call these people and see if they're going to be able to have. But I really owe this to my dynamic way of thinking, I would say, which is my marketing brand. Like anybody that talks to me, I would have been like, hey guys, like my marketing brain is kicking in right now. Like bear with me, I'm going to get a little nerdy, but why don't we do XYZ, right? Like instead of cold calling, let's create an omnipresent marketing strategy where we're deploying in multiple channels and they're not just seeing us when we're calling, but they're seeing us on Google ads and Facebook ads and different things like that. And, everybody has like what they're really good at, and you guys are really good at saving deals and putting deals together and all of that. I don't expect you to have that. That's why you hire other people. That's what leverage is, right? Is leveraging other people's expertise. And that's what I have my people that work with me do, is leverage my marketing brain, leverage my expertise. You have the money, right? You have the capital to put behind it. Let's put some capital behind deploying these strategies and getting you more deals. And once they're able to see, like the passion, not just the passion, but obviously also the deals that come in and like the things that are being seen, they're like, oh, okay, so it's almost like creating like an acquisition department.
It is. Almost. That is an acquisition. That's an acquisition
department where it's like, all right, I don't want to just benefit and sit back and say like, all right, well, send me your land deal when you have it, or like send me your. But it's like, all right, like what can we do, right? Like what are we gonna do? This is what I have. This is what you have. Let's put it into place. Making super best friends with wholesalers, and giving them the ability to be like, hey, if I'm offering you, like whether it's whatever it is, contacts with my developers, networking opportunities, things like that. I'm like, I want to have the right of first refusal when you send me a deal before you send it out to a bunch of people. Right. And making yourself valuable like that, because at the end of the day, they wouldn't have had that contact. And what's waiting 24 hours to send out a deal, that maybe still is in underwriting, right? Like I'm like, let me underwrite it. Like, let me see if it's even a good deal. And then you can send it out.
Wow. So you're doing all that work.
Well, I'm learning. The underwriting part of it is something that right now I'm like, so like, it's like my new, like this year, I'm like, oh my God. So it's like that. It's leveraging those things, you can
leverage us. We can help you with that.
Perfect. And I actually, it's so funny because it's all about like the relationships, right? And I was getting ready with a girlfriend for like a night out, and she just so happens to be an incredible developer, like extremely smart young woman. And we're like, you would think that we were having girl talk, and we're like, all right, so like if I have this deal, and she's like, okay, so will you have to look at, and it's like, I'm like, we look at each other and we're like, this is cool. This is awesome. So, it's all like the people that you have around you and your circle that you've created.
That's interesting because you're thinking outside the box, right? And not everyone is doing that. I have conversations with thousands of people on a monthly basis, and it's always two-sided. One is, I'm seeing so many deals. I'm like, well, how are you seeing these deals? And they, give me stories like yourself. Like they're going out there, they're applying themselves, they're thinking outside the box, they're bringing in these deals. And then you just have some people that are just sitting there complaining. They're saying that like, hey, there's no business out there. And I'm like, all right. I have some of my friends like that too. I'm like, dude, this is what you have to do. This is what the big players are doing. Like you have to apply yourself. It's also a mindset.
Yes.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's like a mindset, because I feel like it's not just instant, right? There's no instant gratification. It takes time for it to build up, for you to have, to reap the benefits, right? Reap the fruits of the benefit. how do you overcome that? Because I know like with all like, you have a lot of pressure, right? You're also spending a lot of dollars. You're burning through a ton of money.
Yes.
Right? Like how do you get through that? How do you make sure that you see the vision through?
I would say that not thinking about the short term goal, but the long term, right? So even when it comes down to, well, mindset number one, and again, it's just been about having the right people around me and speaking life into whatever's going on right now. It's literally speaking life into the project, speaking life into my business. When people ask me how business is, even if I haven't gotten a deal in 2 days, which knock on wood, but it's like, it's coming. I know that my efforts are compounding.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up and I'm like, if at least I'm doing something. I did my social media, I did my calls, I did this, I did that. Even if it wasn't like an extraordinary day, I know that whatever I did was compounding. And it's like being able to look back at the end of the night and being like, you know what, that's going to compound into something more and it's going to come into fruition.
Yeah.
Right? All about those compounding efforts. So also trying to make as many compounding decisions as possible. So, and don't get me wrong, like I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, but I have to be true to myself when I say these things of the cold calling, right?
Yeah.
Cold calling is something that like, I know that it works. I've seen it work and I'm the first one that like, I've done the calls, I've done all of these things. But then I also think about it and I have like these two, right? It's playing like devil's advocate. So I have these two sides of things. So I'm like, I go and I do a post and is going to be seen by my social media got seen by over 100,000 people in a month.
Right.
Do you know how many cold calls I would have to do to call 100,000 people? It would probably take me over 7 years because I've done the math.
Yeah.
Like to call 10,000 people on a video that had 10,000 views, right?
Very good point.
So those are the things that are compounding because that stays up forever.
Right.
Forever, this podcast that we're doing, this is a compounding effort because everybody's going to be able to see some type of media. They're going to go and search Maria Ospina and they're going to see how my mind works, how I speak, what it is that goes on, what it is that I'm doing out there. And that is going to talk to them a lot more than if I just would have called them and got them at the wrong time, at the wrong, whatever the case may be, right? But I still believe in like, the old school and the new school, like they have to meet. I just believe in, how can we make it all right systems, right? Like systemizing things and just like making it a little bit faster, a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. And I digress, but that all goes into the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like it all goes into like, all right, the compounding efforts and just like staying true to the fact that it will always get better, and we're in real estate. And because I've been in real estate for about 11 years now, I know that there's ebbs and flows. Yeah. Right. And it also gives you opportunity. All right. If I couldn't do something today, then it's like, was I able to work on my business or in my business? And then just, being able to see the big picture at the end of the day also will work.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then people always ask me like, how are your videos always so perfect? I'm like, dude, I did not start perfect. Yeah. It's like, you just got to start with what you have. Yes. Right? Like it will never be perfect. Just go with the flow, go with what it is, and then keep rocking and rolling. And I've seen some of your posts like that too. You're like, all right, you don't have to be perfect to start posting on social media. You don't. You learn from your mistakes and then you keep compounding on that. 100%. So yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Let me ask you a question about more focused on bit more focused on the developers and the investors. Yes. What is like the most horrible deal that you've seen in Jersey? Like the worst title? Because I like talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly about real estate. So
I would say, okay, so there was this particular deal where it was about, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare because it had, we were dealing with probate. So it was like 3 heirs and we were dealing with a very old mortgage that had not gotten satisfied. Granted, the property had already been, prior to these heirs, had been sold 3 times. So figure that. And none of the past title companies or even like the past lenders had done anything about like this old mortgage because it was a very old mortgage. It was only like $35,000. And I think to even like just add to like a little cherry on top, if I'm not mistaken, it also there was judgments on the heirs. So it just made for like a very, very, very long and tedious process. And I would say, number one, if it wasn't for, and it's truly not to, it's to give my team their credits, right? It's to give my team their praises, because getting creative and really thinking outside of the box, but also having the resources that we have. And I'll give you a perfect example. Prior to it coming to us, it had gone to 2 other title companies, smaller title companies, and we never talk about it because everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to make their food. So whether you're a big title company like us or a smaller one, as long as you're able to do great business, and kudos to you. However, when it comes down to working with developers and working with people that are really writing a lot of money on these deals, you just simply cannot afford to have a mishap or to have a deal fall through because your title company can't come through.
Right.
And the reason why we were able to come through very sincerely was because we are licensed, bonded, and insured with the top underwriters in the country. And you, just like us, know how important your underwriter relationships are. And because we produce so much for these underwriters, we really have like a lifeline call where we're able to call directly to the top. Be like, hey, we really need you to insure this. Like, we really need like your top players to sit down with our top players and figure out how we're going to be able to close this deal to secure the buyer's interest and secure the seller's interest, make everybody happy, obviously get title insurance, which is the main priority for this, and make sure that everybody walks away clean, right? What are the risks that we have to take as a title company in order to say, you know what, we're willing to take that risk, and should it come back, we are able to take that risk, which obviously it's not what we want, but we want to make sure that everybody's protected, right? And this was one of those deals where we shopped it around, we took it to our top underwriters, and one of our underwriters said, you know what, do this, do that, and as long as you have that, you're cleared and we will insure it. It was beautiful. Right? But only with the power and the leverage that we have, because we are who we are, were we able to do that. Right? Should it have been somebody that only carries one underwriter, they wouldn't have been able to do that. You know, they would have just killed the deal right then and there, which is what we see happen so many times.
And then you're able to pick that up, and you're able to help those investors, developers, or whoever it is.
Of course.
And build on those relationships.
They will never, you know, it's not to say they'll never go anywhere else, but that really set the tone. Right? Like that set the tone for their expectations and what they know that they can get and how they can leverage us when it comes down to those big deals.
That's awesome. I mean, title is also very important. A lot of people don't understand that until they start having issues with their property. So like, I have a scenario right now where a borrower is trying to flip a deal. Construction's all complete already. They have a buyer. Everything's all good to go. And now they're pulling title, and the title shows that there are some past judgments from the previous owner that weren't paid for, and the lien is still on the property. So it's like a $7 million lien.
Wow.
Yeah. And the previous title company didn't catch it for whatever reason. And now they're trying to figure it out. And they have monthly interest payments that they have to make. You know, the loan's only good for 12 months. So that means that they have to get an extension with us. So it's very important to having someone like yourself on your side to make sure that everyone is properly insured. You have the best underwriters, right? And you guys deal with probably like 5 or 6 underwriters.
With the top 7 underwriters. Yeah.
So, you know, so making sure that you guys are able to get the job done, and that's what secures the business.
Yes.
That's huge. What's one of your favorite deals, and probably the smoothest deal you had to deal with?
Honestly, a smooth deal would be just, I would say, it's so funny because sometimes like even like the biggest deals could be the ones that run the smoothest if you have the right team. I had a 32 unit building in Port St. Jervis in Florida, the Panhandle of Florida, and it was a $32 million deal, 32 different units, you know, big bank, amazing. But because of my team that I have down in Florida as well, I mean, they would stay up till like 3 a.m. finishing these files, and they finished it in less than 30 days. So like this was like an extremely fast refinance, and everything went smooth. Like everything went smooth. We were able to give them the rebates that they wanted. We were able to give them just like absolutely everything that they wanted. And then of course you have the good deals exist, right? Like they're out there, and it just when everyone's working in synergy and communication, and everybody is reading their emails and not making us repeat, you know, what we need to ask for, that's when deals really true run smooth, right? You get an executed contract. Like in Jersey, it's very simple. You know, we don't make people go through hoops like, oh, send me a title form. No,
Yeah.
send me an executed contract. That executed contract, we send out a confirmation email. That confirmation email has a buyer sheet and a seller sheet so that we're able to order the things that we need to order, the payoffs, the this, the that, and be prepared, right? Not be last minute. Hey, we still haven't gotten this. We need HOA information. We need this. We need that. Whatever the case may be. And we have all the paperwork that we need and everybody's in synergy, then everything runs smooth.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've done closings in less than 2 weeks. Right.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, we're fast.
Yeah.
We're very, very, very fast. And I know people say like, oh yeah, we're fast. Like, no. We're fast. Like I've gotten title reports for refinances back the same day. It obviously depends on like where it is, the municipality, the county, whatever it is. But I have literally sent it in the morning and got it back that afternoon.
That's amazing.
And not even with like a rush or anything.
Yeah.
But you know, we literally not more than a week. More than a week, we're already like, what's going on?
Yeah,
you know?
like what's happening? That's amazing because there was this deal that we had. It was in Brooklyn. It was a refi, and the borrower was waiting for the title for like 3 weeks.
That's horrible.
I was like, what the hell? He's like, I want to use this title company. He's like, I don't want to go anywhere else. Like, you know, I know these guys. I feel comfortable using these guys. I'm like, dude, you're looking to refi. The rates are changing like on a daily basis. You know, it was very volatile at the time. But that's amazing. And within the same day, that's freaking awesome.
Yes.
But that also comes with your skill and like, you know, your background. You've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
You know, your company's been doing it for so long. That's awesome.
I think it's always important to set expectations. I mean, you know better than I do, you know, just to like set expectations from the very beginning and just like tell me like, hey, like this is going to be a rush order. It's a rush order, you know, but if you're, you know, if it's like, oh, when are we planning on closing? That's a second email that comes after the confirmation email is like, when are we planning on closing? So that we can set expectations for everybody on the back end as well.
Right.
Right. And not be, hey, we want to close this tomorrow. And it's like, all right, well, let's work towards that. So.
Where do you see developers and investors most busy in right now in Jersey?
I would say that there's a town, Sparta is a town where, again, just from like being at a lot of like wholesaling events, a lot of like these things, Sparta is a town where a lot of interest is picking up. Obviously, Essex County, just because Essex County has been picking up. I think that Monmouth County, Middlesex, like that, like Central Jersey is a place where people are really focusing their efforts on, which of course is like things go really fast. Like they just go really, really fast. But even North Jersey, I mean, I would say that like, for example, like where we live, which is like mostly like Bergen County, Hudson County, that is, they still have a lot of interest, but it's just like completely super overpriced right now with good reason, you know, because there's a lot of like, so we know like the Jersey Cities, like Cliffside Parks, the Fort Lees, like all that, Edgewater, all of that is going to be. So people are moving a little bit more north. So like Hackensack. So I have the developer that's building like 250 units, I think, in Hackensack. Then we have the ones that are building like 200 units in Newark, which, you know, Newark has been up and coming.
Yeah. Are they building like single family homes or is it 200 unit multifamily?
Multifamilies.
Nice.
Like they're building a lot of multifamilies. Single family homes, I would say more in like North Bergen area. And those, but multifamily. So many multifamilies going up in Jersey City, Hackensack.
Are these guys like New York guys that jumped over to Jersey during that whole COVID craze, or they're just Jersey guys?
Jersey guys.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's nice.
Jersey guys.
Because New York used to be the hot buzz, and now it's shipping over to Jersey, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to be hosting an event together.
Yes.
June 19th.
Correct.
So hope to see you guys there.
Please do come on by.
we're still trying to figure out the name for the event.
I would love for you guys to help us. What should we name? Amazing networking event of all the brilliant minds in development, title, real estate professionals. So we would love to help you guys name us.
Yes. And let me ask you another
question. Make it a thing.
Yeah. What piece of advice would you give like maybe just like regular buyer or like an investor developer that's, you know, getting title on a property? Like what kind of advice can you give them?
I would say obviously do your research in who your title company is and always look for referrals, obviously, from like the people that you're trusting with your money, that you're
Right.
trusting with your investment, but also do your own due diligence and also have your own, set of expectations of what you should be asking and what are the questions I should be asking, what is the norm, what is not the norm,
Right.
because it's very easy to just say yes and just think that that is the norm, and you can very well be wrong. I would also say, always get title insurance, even if it's a cash buy, whatever
Yeah.
it is. Title insurance is the only insurance that protects you on before and after the purchase of a sale. Is like the best way that I can put it. And it truly gives you that peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because you know that nobody can come take your property as long as you hold that property.
It's mind-boggling where some people are like, I don't want to pay X amount to get title. Like, do I really need it? I'm like, dude, are you out of your mind? Do you even know what you're saying? Like,
Yeah.
why would you even think that?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I had a horror story where it was another lender that made out a loan, and this is, I forgot where this was located. I think this was like maybe in California or something, and the title company was a non-existing title company, and they had a fake title company, and the borrower wired money to this title company, and the person took that money and ran to a different state. Eventually got caught, but they ran with that money. Now it's like in a whole legal battle.
Yes.
So like verifying who the company is or working with a company like Newbridge, with yourself, Maria, knowing who they are, knowing how much volume that they do on an annual basis, and knowing the 5 to 7 underwriters that you guys work with is crucial. It's important rather than saving a couple of bucks. I think it's huge.
Absolutely.
It's peace of mind.
Absolutely. While you bring up like an excellent point, it's like what should borrowers know is like always call to verify, right?
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
call to verify wiring instructions. Always verify with your bank.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that to happen.
A lot of horror
quite
stories.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. So if you were not to be doing title and you would be in real estate, what would you want to do? Or maybe even outside of real estate, what would you do?
I would definitely the next what I see myself doing would be in the development world, just getting super involved in the development world and, bringing a project from the ground up into fruition, learning the numbers, what goes into it, all of that. It's definitely something that interests my mind. And besides that, I would say anything where I can still use my creative outlet, which is marketing, that would be the perfect combination for me.
Yeah, I feel like right now real estate is like centered around marketing.
Well, everybody knows what houses are, right? I don't think that we need more marketing about real estate. Everybody knows what real estate is. It's a tangible asset, blah, 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 blah. It's more about like, who do I pick in real estate? Who do I want to work with within real estate? And that's, truly, and I'm so glad that you brought that up because it's the gap that I'm looking to bridge with what I do and what I teach on my social media is very much about the fact that if somebody doesn't know who you are, they're not going to choose you. How could they?
Yeah.
Right? So every time that you don't show up online, people, when they're searching, they're looking for the person that is showing up online.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality that we live in right now. And not admitting that and not wanting to see that is just a toxic way of looking into the new era that we're in.
Yeah, I agree. And you're pretty much gonna be left behind.
Yes.
Right. And same thing, like, I feel like with it's a bit of a buzzword today, but I feel like there's a lot of it coming into our space. I'm pretty sure you're probably gonna know what I'm gonna be talking about right now. AI, and ChatGPT. It's like, it's amazing, right? I use it on a daily basis. I have it, clean up emails for me or, print out reports, whatever the case is. Are you guys implementing any of that stuff into?
It's so funny that you
world?
say that because we literally have a 4 p.m. training and my phone is buzzing right now because we have a 4 p.m. training on AI and we absolutely are. So just something as simple as the fact that we have a New World Title app and through our New World Title app, it holds 30 different calculators all based around the nuances that come around the different conversations that real estate agents, developers, or lenders might have while they're out on the road. for them to be able to come out and say like, all right, like what's the cost of holding this property?
Yeah.
What is what I will net? The refinance, the fix and flip, whatever it may be. And this is all, through technology, right? So we're definitely very forward thinking when it comes down to that. And at least for myself, I mean, I use it for everything, right?
That's
I use
awesome.
it for whether it's, looking at deals or looking for new softwares to use, data, whatever the case may be. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you ever think it's going to take over any positions in real estate? I know a lot of people are afraid.
100%. I was it's so funny. I was like, I was listening to a podcast called The Diary of a CEO, and that was the next one that I was going to listen to. I was listening to another one, and that was literally the name of the podcast episode. Was like, what things is it going to take? So it's so funny because I have this conversation with my stepdad. So he's still in title and he's a title examiner, right? Yeah. And sometimes he'll be looking at these super extremely difficult cases and he will be like, yeah, AI is never going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Like, he would never be able to find it because he needs to find like the person from here and this and like putting the dots together. And if like it takes like a human eye to see like, all right, well, the way that they signed the signature, it means that this person was, like those different things like that. Will it take it? Yeah, it will. Right. Yeah. And that's just on us to be better.
Yeah, exactly.
Be better.
Yeah.
And do better.
Yeah, exactly.
And use and leverage it. Right.
Exactly.
The more that we leverage it to our advantage for our business, I guess like the harder that it will be for it to catch up.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I mean, there was an AI robot that sold like $300 million worth of real estate in Saudi Arabia like a couple of months ago. And I always say the same thing, right? Have it work for you, like have it help you as well. I mean, eventually it is going to take over positions without a doubt. But for the time being, see how it can help you and maybe it'll get you to the next level that it won't be able to replace you.
I'm going to give you a perfect example. I helped, as a side, I want to say business. I had an agent come to me, one of my really top agents in New Jersey, and he said, Maria, I really need your help. I see that, I do a social media course where I teach other agents how to set up their systems and whatnot. He's like, I love you. I would love to do your course. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
What can we do so that everything that you're teaching, you can apply to my business? And I'm like, okay, well, it would be a done for you product. It would obviously be more expensive. And long story short, we set up something on his CRM. It's called GoHighLevel. And through that GoHighLevel, it had an appointment setter AI robot. And this appointment setter AI robot has been able to set up over $10 million worth of appointments for him, of listing appointments.
Wow.
Obviously, they all came from Facebook ads. They came into his funnel. And if you look, I mean, I could literally send you the screenshots so we can like show it to people, but the conversation was so free flowing. We obviously trained it to be very empathetic, to have that human connection. And in one of those, the guy even made a joke and the AI robot replied like, I love your humor, blank.
Yeah.
And then gets back to the point of setting up that appointment.
That's amazing.
And that right there for him, imagine the amount, and granted, like he's still doing his thing, like he's still cold calling, he's still doing everything that he usually does, but this is just like an added revenue of like, he's like, oh my God, like my calendar, I have so many appointments, and he's already, mind you, we started implementing this just like in February, and he's already close to, like one in Florida, one in New Jersey, and like has like 2 like actual like listings that are live that haven't closed yet. But it's like he would have never had this, if like he would have been like there sitting down, or whatever, going through the back and forth. Like it did it for him. Yeah. And all he had to do was just call and show up.
And it's a lot more cost effective. And now you don't really have to manage people and like, be like,
it's like a second VA for you.
That's amazing. Guys, so not only are you coming to Maria for title, you're coming to her for marketing, you're coming to her for business development, you're coming to her for AI tips, the whole 9 yards. Maria, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate you.
See you guys June 19th. We will send you guys a location. We'll share that with you guys. It is going to be in Jersey City.
Edgewater.
In Edgewater? Okay. We'll see you guys in Edgewater. June 19th. We'll have all the details below. Maria, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Had a great time.